Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing our second Q&A for this week, leading up to the 6th episode for The Walking Dead Season 8. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts on, first, what is wrong with Gabriel? And spoiler warning if you guys haven't seen the 5th episode for The Walking Dead Season 8 yet. So in this one we'll start with our thoughts on Gabriel, then we'll get into a bunch more questions, and we got some really good ones here. One about the helicopter, which if you didn't see, I did a video yesterday giving my kind of first thoughts on the helicopter we see in Episode 5. I did the review for Episode 5, which is in the channel. I did predictions for Episode 6, which is also in the channel. Those will be in the end screens for you guys here, and you can enter the t-shirt giveaway in the review for Episode 5. So going into Episode 6 this weekend, lead question for this video, what is wrong with Father Gabriel? So a few different kind of theories have been brought up. Of course, one option is, has he been bitten? Another option is he sick? Is he dehydrated? Something like this. So Samuel Schrader sent this one through. It's a Q&A, Trev. What in the tap dancing Jesus is wrong with Father Gabe? Was he poisoned by the Walker Guts trick or bitten? And we kind of touched on this one yesterday. So yeah, my interpretation hasn't changed. I still think that he's sick from the guts trick. And you know, they kind of explain it too. You know, you've got Negan who kind of explains what the Walker Guts are basically made of at this point. And it is true also that as the years go by, you know, the Walkers are not always going to have fresh, like, blood on them. So if you look back to Season 1, where you have the guts trick with Rick and Glenn, they cover themselves, there's going to be a lot of blood, that kind of deal. But these walkers that we're seeing now, they're mostly dry. You know, like they have guts and everything like that, but it's gnarly. It's going to be really gross, right? It's going to be just disgusting at this point. You know, it'd be disgusting then too, but it feels like the zombies have gotten more decayed. They've gotten a little bit more gross. They're probably more dry than they used to be. So it's nasty stuff for sure. And based on, you know, kind of the way he looked at the end, where his skin looked like it had a tint of kind of like drawn out or like gray with a little bit of like a hint of green or something like that. That to me, maybe it wasn't too green, but you guys get the idea of what I'm saying. Just the coloration that he was looked like he was kind of just really poisoned or sick from the Walker Guts trick to me. So I don't think he's bitten. I think he'll survive. I think he'll be fine. Dehydration, well, I don't know. You know, that's yeah, but you could hallucinate, I guess, from dehydration, but usually it would take, I think, a little while longer than that. I think he's mainly just really badly sick from what they went through, and he might not get a shower. Like, well, Negan took a shower pretty much right away, but Father Gabriel, I wouldn't think would get that luxury, right? Then we have one from Annie G who says, did Gabriel get bitten or was he dehydrated at the end of the episode? So the dehydration question, I guess a lot of people are thinking that might be it. I just think he's sick from guts, but leave your comments below. Let's discuss it. Maybe there's a reason. This is a good one from Steffi2933 who said, Trev, so now that we've seen an actual helicopter, do you still think that shot of Rick on the trash heap actually had a glitch in the background, or was that foreshadowing? So if you watch that back, and this is why I wanted to include this kind of as an add-on for yesterday's video, that is true that they did have a glitch. I want to say it's a glitch. I don't think it was really a helicopter. Now here's what I think. This is my interpretation. You guys definitely weigh in on this one in the comments so that we kind of can see what your thinking patterns are. These are my thinking patterns for this. I think it was a glitch. So they had the green screen where Rick is on top of the trash heap in the second half of Season 7 before he fights off Winslow, and you have, or is it before or after? It's somewhere around there. When he's on top, up, and then maybe she pushes him down. So I'm thinking it's just before, probably. You can watch the episode if you've got maybe Netflix or if you got it on, you know, DVD, Blu-ray. So he goes up there and there's a glitch. Now I think, I'm trying to remember if they edited it out on the Blu-ray. I'd have to, or the DVD. I'd probably have to look, but you guys can, you know, one of you guys can write a comment below whether or not it's actually still there. But on original airing, there was something in the background that kind of glitched out, like it was a helicopter or a bird or something like this, and it looked weird. So Steffi's comment is really good here. Even though, like I said in yesterday's video, I don't think it makes sense that the garbage group would be flying helicopters around. I don't think that makes sense. Could they have included a helicopter this season to explain away the glitch that we saw last season? Unless it wasn't a glitch and it was on purpose. I took it as a glitch. You know, that's the way I look. Because when you watched it in the episode, it really looked like a green screen glitch. That's what it looked like to me. Like a green screen that something, you know, got picked up and blended into the frame. And when they filtered it out based on the green color, it didn't cleanly grab it 100%. There was some corruption in it, and a little bit of fuzziness in there, and that's what happened. So, you know, definitely a tricky one for sure. But a nice call out from Steffi, which is that, is it possible they included the helicopter in this season to try to kind of make it make sense last season? Or is it possible that last season it was intentional to start with, and now they're kind of following up on that? Couple possibilities with that too. He sees it when he's you know, at the junkyard. Do the junkyard have a landing pad there somewhere with a helicopter? So that's one possibility. Or is it another group that was flying in and around or flies helicopter frequently and just happened to kind of pass over at that time, and then we're seeing the same kind of helicopter this time? So they fly it over every so often. It is also true that the garbage pail kids, or the junkyard group, they probably heard what was going on with the car chase. So the car chase probably got their attention when the 50 cal's shooting off and you hear all this craziness and then explosions and all this stuff. So it is true that Daryl and Rick and what they went through in this this stretch here in the last 2 episodes probably would get their attention. So even if they didn't know 100% some of the other stuff that was going on, maybe this was closer to them, and you get an explosion in there, you get, you know, all kinds of car crash and all this other stuff going on, you know, loud racing down. All of these things that are happening, does it make sense that that would somehow alert them? They'd hear it, and then they'd kind of send some scouts out, and they find Rick, and then they capture Rick. I think that makes a lot of sense. Could the helicopter be a scout from the junkyard group? Man, I guess so, but personally, like, they seem to me, this is just me, more like a group like the Whisperers, where they don't seem like a governor type of group, or saviors, or a group like that that has, you know, heavy artillery, or, you know, a tank, or, you know, any kind of, like, you know, big, you know, army gear like that. Like, they don't seem like a group that would have something like that. They seem like a group of savages, basically, that, you know, live in the junkyard, that, you know, are out there. They don't seem to me like a group that would have a pilot that would be flying a helicopter around. But at the same time, it's like they might have 100+ people. Could one of them have been a pilot before this? I guess so, you know, and just be looking to survive, and somehow runs into them, and they're like, we can use you, or whatever, we found this, or whatever, and then maybe they start flying a helicopter around as a spotter. I don't know, man. You know, they did include it during All Out War, so maybe it makes sense that it's from the junkyard. Damn, man, I don't know. So again, you know, after yesterday's and today's, write in the comments below which idea makes the most sense to you guys. Do you think that they might have included the helicopter to kind of explain away what we saw last season? I think that's kind of a cool catch, and maybe something legitimate, like they actually put it in now, even though they didn't intend originally on having it there, is my take on it. That's the one that I think is most likely. However, you could read it a different way and say, no, they intended to put it in there last year, and now they're just following up on that. And it is the junkyard group that has a helicopter. I guess they don't bother, and somehow they found a helicopter and they took. Yeah, interesting stuff. The Crows 009 says, favorite scene is by far when Negan comes in and everyone kneels down. So yeah, that's really cool, man. And I had everybody kind of, you know, write a favorite scene in the comments for the attention, or the giveaway in the review video. So you can still do that if you haven't done that. Go to the review after this video and you can do that. So that is a really cool one. And that's one thing about these episodes this season, man. There's just so much happening in every episode. The pacing is so fast. There's so many things they're including that it really feels like you're getting, in one episode, you're getting a lot of new things happening. And even like to where I do the reviews, and we're, you know, like I forget stuff, or I'm missing stuff to mention, like stuff like the helicopter I didn't mention, is in some ways a good thing. It's not a good thing that I don't mention certain things. I'd like to cover every single part of every episode and every single scene. But when they put so much stuff in it, it's difficult for me to cover absolutely everything in one review right after the episode airs. So it's kind of a good thing if there's some things that are omitted. What it means is that they have loaded it up, and it's not so easy to summarize because there's so much stuff in it. They've jam-packed it, which is really cool. But that is a great scene as well too there. And thank God, you know what they thank him, like, he's their savior, right? And Father Gabriel's there, so you got to bring God into it. So that was really clever. I thought that was brilliant for sure. I'm surprised that they haven't renewed The Walking Dead for a 9th season. Usually they would have done that already before the season starts or during episodes 2 or 3. What are your thoughts, Trev? So do I read anything into that we haven't had an article or anything letting us know The Walking Dead's been renewed for season 9? No. I mean, there is no way they would just drop The Walking Dead or cancel it. It would never happen. Even if they were going to wrap it up, they would probably do it in a fashion where, like, they're wrapping the show up, they give us a final season, but they would give us warning way ahead of time. And also, it's such a cash cow for AMC, and they've talked about how many seasons they want to go on for. Maybe they just felt like, who cares, it's not even necessary to announce that we're renewing The Walking Dead. Everybody knows we're renewing The Walking Dead. They're renewing Fear the Walking Dead. So, like, can I see a reality where they renew Fear and they don't renew the original series? No, I wouldn't worry about that at all. Honestly, I wouldn't. It still gets so many views. And remember, guys, like 9 million, 8.5 million views in the U.S. alone. That's just the U.S. alone. You have a huge fan base here in Canada, such as myself. You have a huge fan base in the U.K., freaking even in Fear. I see a lot of people from Mexico and, lots all over the world. Japanese, Netherlands, Russia, a few people. So The Walking Dead is huge. And, I wouldn't worry so much about that right now. Chillin' McCool says, Trev Q&A, is Negan going to kill Gabriel, so to speak, or will he kill him for real? Are you making fun of me because I say so to speak a lot? I think you are. You say it all the time. It's like a tag. It's like a catchphrase or tagline at this point, right? It's like it's like pants or something. So is he going to kill Gabriel? So I don't think Negan wants to kill Gabriel. I don't think that's... And in this episode too, this episode 5 was great for Negan, I think, because it really shows the audience, like, he doesn't really want to kill everybody. But again, it kind of flips it on its head, because in some ways Daryl and the others, they want to kill everybody. So it's kind of like, well, who's really the bad guy? Is Negan really the bad guy? We're seeing them in this situation where it's like they want to just eradicate. They want to just go through and decimate, kill everybody. So yeah, it's kind of interesting, and I've always felt that about Negan when we first meet him too. He comes across as a really badass guy, but like we said in season 6 in the second half, Rick and the others cleaned out the entire satellite post. They cleared out everybody. They killed everyone. Negan didn't kill everyone. He didn't end the show and kill Rick and kill all the others. He just killed one, and then the second one happened because Daryl or maybe he was pissed off and he thought he had to do 2 for this group to really make sure. And even that didn't work anyway. But yeah, so he's maybe he's not as bad as people originally thought he was, from the perspective of Rick and the group. So it's I love that. I love how The Walking Dead has so many layers to it. I love that there's so many points of view you can take on things, and it's not so black and white. It's not so simple, and I like that. You have some complexity there with Negan, good or bad. These questions: who's really the bad guy? Who's the good guy? Is Negan really a bad guy since he doesn't want to kill everybody? He does want to save people. He just views it as necessary to put on some kind of presentation by killing somebody to break the others in. So, it's again, these are some really psychologically interesting questions, I think, and that's why when some people try to break The Walking Dead down like it's overly simplistic, it's overly popular, pop culture-y, and there's no depth to it, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't agree with that. There is so much depth to The Walking Dead, and sometimes the closer you look at it, you start seeing different lenses, you start seeing different angles, and it's interesting stuff, man. I like it a lot. It's not so easy to break down. Last one will be from Thumber of Love, who says, they are dragging out All Out War for too long. Viewers deserve to see quicker plot resolutions. So, and maybe we'll do one more after this one. But personally, I can't disagree more. I've been loving the pacing so far of All Out War. It hasn't felt slow to me. It hasn't felt like it's dragged out too much. It's felt like it's substantial. It's felt like, you bring Morales back, you do all this other stuff. Maybe you could send everyone in at Negan and beat him in one swoop and it'd be over in a couple episodes. But they did that with the Hunters, and all I did was complain. If you guys watched those reviews of how the Terminus group went after Terminus, I really felt like you could take that group and turn them into a half season, of them on the road being hunted it and back and forth and some things like that. So it could have been awesome. Now what they're doing at this part is they're basically taking an action, trade volume, All Out War Parts 1 and 2, and they're really extending that thing, and they're getting mileage out of it. And I love it, man. Personally, I love it. I don't think they're dragging it out too far. I think it's exactly what we need. Why would you want to blow past the war? For what afterwards? For peacetime and then just have like a whole season of peace or something? No, I mean, I think this is great. It really feels like a war. It's big scale. You have all these groups all over the place. You have some interesting questions that are being brought up. You can see both sides to things. And I think it's great, man. I've been enjoying it a lot for sure. And Trev's 10 Rules will be the last one, and I don't pick his questions just because he has that username. I don't. I pick the best questions. So, but his was just a comment. This has been the strongest half yet. And, I've seen still a lot of people complaining, but I think a lot of that's left over from last season and just in habits of because, I mean, for me, like, I watched the season, I'm thinking, like, yeah, this is one of the best seasons they've ever done. I think so already. Like, I think after even just what we've seen as far as a half goes, to compare it to other halves, to season 7 half, yeah, it's better than season 7 half. Season 6 first half, season 6 is my favorite season, so it's tough. Maybe we'll look at it when this half is done. Maybe, we're gonna have to see. Season 5, its first half I thought was really good as well too. Hunters and the Beth stuff with the hospital, so that was good. So it's tricky, man, but I certainly would put this half. We'll see how it ends up in the last 3 episodes, but probably one of the strongest halves of The Walking Dead, first halves of any season, maybe ever. That'll be it for this video, guys. Let me know what you think. Write your comments below. Going back to season 7 with the helicopter one, I can't wait to see what you guys have to say about that one, because I think that one is really interesting. Whether it was a glitch or not, and whether or not the helicopter was intentional, and they're cleaning up. They're kind of putting it in to clean up what they did last year, maybe. Thumb up the video if you guys liked it. Check out the review if you haven't seen it yet. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at the bottom left. That's it for this one, guys. We'll see you again soon for another video. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon. Well, I hope you're wearing your subscribing pants.
What?
Your subscribing pants. Because you're going to subscribe to this channel wearing those pants.